Hey guys, and welcome back to another Conan Exiles video. Today we are back with the Star Signs build, the series where we build structures that represent the traits of the traditional zodiac star signs. Today we are building for Taurus, the star sign active for April 20th to May 20th. Taurus is an earth sign represented by the bull, and they are strong, dependable, sensual and creative. They're also hard workers too, so today we're building a guild hall workshop where a bunch of Taurus-themed craftsmen gather together to produce the best weapons and armour. This build is over in map square H9, just north of the waters around Tellith's Island. The requirements for this build are on screen now, and it's a fairly simple affair. So without further ado, let's get started. Firstly, start off with this baseplate held up by pillars. Add corner stable pillars at the intersection of where each wall will be, as they appear on the blueprint. Cover the bottom of the ceilings with Numidian walls to close off the baseplate. Build Numidian walls 2 tiles high on the ground floor. You'll also want to add storm glass windows by placing a stable gate frame, a Numidian crenellated wall, and then replace the gate frame with a window, replace the window with a wall, and then replace the wall with the original window so you can now face it outward. Top those windows off with rounded storm glass windows. For each of the segments that jut out from the core rectangle, build stable gate frames with stable frames on top to separate them whilst keeping them generally open plan. Once you've done that, in the middle rear 2x3, build a simple 180-degree staircase. Top off the walls with arena vaulted and straight ceilings. I initially only use the vaults around the joints, but later on I'll add vaulted ceilings across the build in a broader fashion. You'll see that later on, but I think that does work a lot better. On the first floor, build the tricked pillars up 2 tiles high on the right side of the build, and when it tapers into the thinner rectangle, raise them only 1 tile high. Build Numidian walls up on this floor at the rear to match the pillars. Bring the walls in by 1 tile on the front and back on the longer sides to create balconies. Also replicate the storm glass window from the ground floor on the far right side onto the first floor too. Add simple open gables on this section, and then build walls 1 tile high on the narrow section. Make the front-facing walls Numidian windows, place awnings on the entrance porch below, and though I did place roof pieces to smooth them in, instead use rooftop pieces. I will swap to those later on, and they look much better and retain the function of the windows. On that section that extends out from the narrow rectangle, add real windows and then open roof gables as before. To smooth things out, merge the height difference between the 2 sections by using inverted sloping sides and regular sloping sides. Add arena ceilings atop the 2 tile high section and run a central pillar up from the ground floor to support it and allow you to finish off the merge. Add Numidian roofing to match the flow of all the roof gables. This was also where I replaced the roofs atop the awnings on the porch with rooftop pieces. That works a lot better. Make sure the roofs all flow into each other by using inverted roof corners as well. The only noticeable break in the roof should be on the merge. Atop the pillar at the centre of the tallest segment, add a 1x1 of Numidian windows and top it with a Numidian rooftop cap. Add stable fencing to the balconies and arena fencing to the ground floor porches. Add column sections as shown on the blueprint, topped with Numidian rooftop caps to add a little bit of visual flair. Back on the inside, I extended out the vaulted ceilings as I mentioned earlier, which adds a lot more shape and flow to the interior. Finally, at the rear, step down a foundation and use stage stairs, then build out a rear platform to match the blueprint shown earlier, closed off with Numidian fences and arena walls beneath the ceilings to finish off the build. Finally, when the shell of the build was done, it was then time to, of course, furnish. I added some torches and a small pathway to the outside of the build, alongside plenty of banners depicting the bull. This is the workshop hall of the Emerald Bull, a guild of talented craftsmen. Emerald is also the lucky gem of the Taurus sign, which plays into the theme. Taurus are strong people, and I've tried to reflect that in the architecture too, with straight, strong shapes in the building to make it stand firm. The interior is a rustic, though still somewhat lavish guild hall with a balance of workshop spaces and some small seating areas on the ground floor. On the left side of the build is the blacksmithery and the tanner's nook. The blacksmith is tucked away in a small cubby where he can work in peace, and the tanner has a bit more space for his equipment, as his leather will be used by almost every other profession in the guild. His section is quite busy, though nicely organised. The exterior yard is an extension of the blacksmith's cubby, and it's where he can smelt ores into ingots and work the towering furnaces without the heat building up inside the hall. Back inside we head towards the cross, where each part of the build intersects. The cross has access to 3 immediate sections, the first being the carpenter's cranny, where the carpenter chops down and shapes wood, alongside fixing and adjusting wooden elements on other crafts. The artisan's alcove is a more narrow section with a more general purpose layout, including some benches and other things that just wouldn't fit in the more specialised sections. Finally, the storage racks hold any excess material or anything else the guild hall requires for their projects. Upstairs is more of a recreational and meeting space for the guild. On the eastern side we have the library, a pretty grand space where the craftsmen of the Emerald Bull have a plethora of books and manuals to rely on. The library also has access to both balconies and plenty of seating for the guild members themselves and any visitors. On the west side we have the meeting room. As a guild that does trade its wares, this is where the members will meet to discuss deals, quotas and production. Despite the often fairly boring conversations that happen here, the space is warm and cosy with a view to the outside world and a smaller lounge space for relaxation. Some craft pieces, relics, books and greenery are on display, and of course the symbol of the Emerald Bull is displayed prominently over the Guildmaster's seat. And there we have it, a guild workshop for the Taurus zodiac sign. I'm really happy with how this build turned out. I wasn't too sure at first how good it would be, but I think the final result is strong, comfortable, well balanced, and suits the Taurus theme. Next month we've got Gemini, which also should be pretty fun. Thank you for watching, and of course a massive thanks to our wonderful esteemed coffee cultists for continuing to support the channel over on Patreon. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed the video, it helps out massively. Take care, and I'll see you soon.